about motivation, talking about meditation, talking about inspiration. If it's not one of the three, I don't want it. There is a lot of us out there that are facing challenges right now. And a lot of the challenges that we're facing off against right at this moment, they're in our minds, friends. Trust me, we're all going to go through challenges. We're all going to have times that it's going to have ups and downs. The only difference is when you're going through your challenges, how you react. What is it that you do? What is it that you're able to do? What types of things can you utilize? How can you focus so that you can achieve your dreams, your goals, and your abilities? And it's not like any of us are having it easy right now. At this current moment in time, mass amounts of things are happening. Lots of different challenges are coming our way. And those are the things that build us, friends. Those are the things that start to become a reason and a drive. And every day that I'm out there, I'm reminded that the challenges that I face off against are not just myself, but there are others out there facing off against the same kind of challenges. And that somebody else has been through this challenge that I've been through, they've made it through it. And it gives me at least the drive every single day to get up to ask the question, is what I'm doing today, is it motivation? Is it meditation? Is it inspiration? And I just want to inspire you all to continue to focus, to continue to put your mind in a place of positivity, in a place of ability, and to know that your mentality can open you up. It can give you more than what you're looking out at. The angle that we're seeing in front of us is just one, friends. There's many angles to look at this thing. There's many angles to overcome our challenges and to use our ability within who we are. And it will not happen just today. It's not going to happen just right now. What's going to happen is it's going to take time, it's going to take effort, and a lot of times you're going to have to dig yourself out of it. You're going to have to dig yourself out of the challenges that you're going through, one step at a time, one ability at a time. And we have that ability to get there. We have that ability to grow past the challenges that we face off against. That if we're just looking at the mass that it is in front of us and not using our minds to be that place, to have that ability, then we ultimately won't succeed. And success and failure are one and the same. To succeed and to fail is in your mind, friends. It's in the one who gets up and says, let me try one more time. It's in the one that when failures come, they're still focusing. They're still putting in the time. They're still putting in the effort. And, even when I used to do car sales, one of the most favorite things was when I'd get my butt kicked. When other people were with the upper hand. Because at least if they have the upper hand, then I have something to shoot for. We have something to utilize. We have something to measure. And on organizing yourself, focusing on using your challenges and using your abilities. And it's amazing the type of chess games that you can play with your mind when you're facing challenges. Is it possible? And if you focus on the positivity, if you focus on the ability, even though you're going through the challenges and the mentality itself, it will open up. It will benefit you, and you can grow past those challenges. And so, how can we do that when we feel like everything around us is failing? How can we do that when everything else around us is not succeeding? And that's why it all starts inside of yourself. It all starts inside of your mind. It all starts in what you believe about yourself, what you wish to manifest to become a reality. And it's not just today that we can do so. It's not just today that we can become and that we are able to overcome. It's in our everyday challenge and our everyday ability and our everyday mentality, friends. You're gonna fail. Things are going to happen. They're not gonna always work perfect. Even if you have the perfect stuff, it still can be a failure. It still can be a challenge. And inside of those challenges, that's where character builds from. That's where the self becomes a believer. That's where the subconscious and the conscious start to open the mind and open up the ability to be oneself. And the difference between somebody who succeeds and somebody who fails is 1%. What do I mean by this? For each one success you have, you're going to have 10 failures. And as you focus on your successes, as you focus on your ability, as you focus through your challenges, the more and more you succeed, the less and less the odds of failure come, friends. That it's not that the failures don't come. No, it's that your mind is strong enough to overcome the failures. Your mind is actually strong enough to continue through the challenges and to accept your ability. Your mentality can open itself up with you. You can be the person in your storyline who succeeded even with failures. You can be the person in your storyline who, even though these challenges came, I still succeeded. And it takes the ability of just putting your foot forward, just putting your mind to work, to focus. And in one of those great tools, like a lot of people they are out there, they say positive thinking, it doesn't work. Okay, so what's the opposite of positive, friends? What is a better way of thinking? And so it's not necessarily that positive thinking works. It's that you can make a subconscious decision, an actual ability in your mind to decide that even if these challenges come, I'm going to still be positive. I'm going to still figure out a way. So what? These challenges came. So what? I had multiple failures. Where does the success come from? Where does the meaning of being self come from? And that's where ultimate growth is. It's inside of yourself. It's applying your energy, your being, your mind when you don't even know if it's possible. You know, I have failed so many times in this life. I have failed so many times in this life. And there's so many more failures that are available. So many more challenges that I can face off against. And that's the difference between a positive thinking welcome and somebody who fails. Is somebody who's going to succeed is willing to fail and understands the attribute of failure. See, a lot of people, they don't want to understand the attribute of failure. They don't want the hard times. They want it all to be easy. And what kind of joy comes from that? What kind of joy comes from everything being handed to you? Nothing. You get everything that you have when you put your time, your effort, your ability, your mentality, you start to open up your mind. And that's all it is. It's just thank you for subscribing to me. You know, I get on here and I focus on what we can do to grow and what we can do to succeed, even with all of these hard times and challenges. You know, it's a lot more out there, my friends. That, see, the thing is failure and success, they're twins. And if you don't have a good relationship with failure, then when you're succeeding, it just is luck. But if you have a good relationship with failure, and your failures and your successes are part of the same story, then this is the channel for you. This is the channel to uplift you and to tell you that you can do it, that you can achieve it, that you can become it. You know, I look back like 5 years ago when I was homeless. I look back when I didn't even have anything. I was sleeping in a car in San Diego, making $6,000 with 2 dogs in the car and an ex-wife in Europe. You know, I look forward, I look at, and now I see people that are wishing that they were in the position that I'm in, wishing that they had their own company. And yeah, it's a struggle. Yes, it does take a lot out of you. It takes a lot out of your mind, your ability. There are nights that I go home and I'm just so exhausted. You know, I drive in 7 days, 3,000 miles. That's what it's about. It's about believing in yourself, believing in your ability, and opening up your mentality. See, I've been a driver for 9.6 years, did 5 years of car sales, 3.5 years of telesales, and 10 years of meditation. And what I've been taught is how to fail better. You hear what I'm saying? Let the failures become your successes. Failing often. You know, I used to listen to a lot of motivational speakers that would say fail frequently and fail often. And I would sit back and go, what do you mean? Why should I fail? It's not that the failures don't come. It's that you become strong enough to work through your failures till they become successes. That it ultimately becomes a result through failure to succeed. And I got to spend time in an auto shop doing automotive work to see failures happening on a constant basis and successes happening. And it's amazing when those become the reason. When it's just doing the best that you can with what you have to focus through, that your mind becomes ultimately strong enough to overcome your challenges. And that's all it takes. Just putting in the time, the ability, the mentality. You know, I think about the hours that I also business driving people on top of it. And I go, all this was training. All this was so that I could do this, so that I could be able to open my mind and have an open space within that even when I fail, I'm still succeeding. And if I can inspire you to that level where your successes and your failures become a part of the joy of your journey, then this channel means something. If it's not to have success, but that you might be able to have a strong enough mind that when you fail, you can still succeed. If this channel can at least do that much for you, then it's worth it. Then this message that I share on a daily basis, that sleeping in my car for 3 months, waking up, doing 10 years of meditation, if it can train your mind to study your situations, to face off against your challenges, and to utilize yourself to be you. I've learned in failure how to succeed. And see, that's what it's about. It's about the mind becoming strong enough and mentally prepared for what's to come, what challenges that you will face off against and you will have to go through on a daily basis. What kind of challenges are there? How do you react to your challenges? How do you focus beyond when things aren't working the way that you would like them to? Are you able to open your mind and also find the successes from, or do the failures hold you back? Realizing that success and failure are twins, and then enjoying the attribute of both is what it's about. If you can failures, then you can enjoy your successes. And that takes a lot of mental focus. It takes a lot of mental ability. It takes a lot of mental strength and endurance. That everything is not always going to work. That everything is not always going to hold yourself. That you will have to dig yourself out of situations. You will have things that will not work right. And you have the ability inside of yourself to be that one that overcomes those challenges as well. And it's only when you start to focus and you start to put the mind in the place where you can achieve it that it opens up. And a lot of times, I know a lot of positions, that's what happens. They limit your ability. That's how they keep you broke. They limit your ability to grow. They limit your ability to believe in yourself. They tell you how this is going to go. Instead of you waking up and driving after it. You know, I think of Eric Thomas, and I think about the difference between a gazelle and a lion. See, this thing had started way before now, friends. This thing started back with natives. It started back with those that were collectors and hunters. And it started back with a mentality that I'm going to get after it. Hello. And that it's going to happen. And there's those out that are out there that are collectors. There's all those that are out there that are part of a tribe. There are those that are out there that they succeed as a group. But I know, at least for me, that's not the case. The case for me is I'm a lone wolf. I'm not meant to be at the back of the pack. We're meant to our lives, lead our mentality. And that is why I had to start my own company. That's why I had carrying my own customers. Because I spent years with the pack. 6 years doing Uber and Lyft, still doing it on the side. Just had a drop off of a customer about 20 minutes ago. Not a lot. Those trips, about $30, friends. And you know what? That's from my own mind. And you have yours. You have your mind. You can achieve your dreams. You can find a way to be yourself. And you can find an ability inside of who you are. But you got to be willing to fail. You got to be willing to say, okay, I'm going to take a couple knees. I'm going to take a couple hits from the rear. You know, it ain't going to be easy. And it ain't going to be just a fight. It's going to be a real fight with your mind. It's going to be a real fight with your ability, your mentality. And it's going to be a real reward when you enjoy the failures and the successes. And you have it in you to do it. That's the greatest part. Have a great day out there. But that's what it's about. It's awesome when you're trucking. You know, I see truck drivers in front of me that are not local. I see them working. And I see them getting freight across towns. And it may not be the same field that I'm in. It may not be the same industry. But the mindset to get out there and drive for hours on end, this is what I enjoy to do, friends. I enjoy that we all can focus on something. We can all focus in some way or another, and that when we focus and we put our mind towards something, that we can achieve our dreams. And I'm just absolutely excited for the challenges that come our way, because if we didn't have challenges, how in the world would we succeed? How in the world would we find more? How would we find a place inside of ourselves to go? And if we didn't have challenges, then we wouldn't have anything. Because without challenges, you wouldn't even be able to get out of bed. See, sometimes we don't want to get out of bed even. And so it's born into us to have to embrace challenge. It's born into us to have to embrace the things that we go through, the things that we focus on. And I'm here to tell you that you can face challenges. That all of the challenges are not always there to stop you. And inside of your challenges is you. The ultimate challenge is not on the outside, it's inside of who you are. And a lot of times we are not willing to put in the time, the effort, and the ability to work through our challenges. But when we do put in the time, the effort, and the ability to work through our challenges, when we do find a part of growth, and we find a part of purpose inside of our challenges, something special happens. And that special thing that happens is you start to believe in yourself. You start to have a reason. And a lot of times what happens is that a lot of the well, I guess that's it for a message for now. I do hope that you all have a blessed day out there. As always, namaste.